Okay, hey guys, this is Robert Smith. How are you? I know I can't hear you, but I'm doing fine. Today is March the 24th, which is a Thursday for me, and it's 1 o'clock. And what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about, or answer some questions. We've got a lot of questions here sitting in front of me, and I'll kind of share what's going on here in FasterEFT land or Robert Smith land. And we just finished, just got back from Spain. We had a level 1 training there in Spain, and really nice group of people. It's the beginning of the new style of training. Because I've been doing, I guess, most of you may know my story. I started out with the EFT, or actually before that I started out with NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, then EFT, and then started mixing things together, and now we have FasterEFT. Although I wouldn't intend to make FasterEFT, but this is what we have. And so one of the questions people have asked me said, well, what is FasterEFT? Basically, FasterEFT, I would say it's like a toothbrush. And it's a skill set and a mindset on how you operate. It has a structure of a belief system. It shows you how your mind works. It shows you how you successfully are producing in your life. It is an emotional intelligent tool, basically. The cool thing with it is that it works with the power of your mind to manifest, which means you're successfully creating and manifesting in your life all the time. So you're always manifesting, and so your current life situation is a creation. Everything you have now is perfectly created, even though you're creating a life by default, which means you create from what you hold within your mind. That means from the moment of birth, you start recording your whole entire existence. You record experiences with your mom, your dad, and everyone else, and your unconscious mind just organizes it in the background, and then you create an identity from these experiences, you create a value from these experiences, and then you start operating. So from your recordings, you act as if that's you, which means you could witness something over here or something over there, and your mind captures it and it organizes it, and later on it'll produce from it. So we're always, it's utilizing your mind's power to create illnesses, panic attacks, fears and phobias, more money, more love, less love. You can create depression, you can create happiness with the power of your mind. And it's all built or expressed from your inner holdings. So FasterEFT is, it's a mindset, it's an attitude, it's a belief system, it's a self-help tool, it's a self-empowering tool. It allows your brain to manifest something different than what you've been getting. And so who will it work on? Everyone. Only those who stop and use it, because you don't have to use a toothbrush. Some people do, some people don't. And so now the interesting thing with this skill or mindset of FasterEFT, how I see it and what I've done with it, because I'm pretty simple. I'm a pretty simple-minded person. It means it's got to be easy for me to understand. Now, the cool thing is from my trainings, Richard Bandler's work, NLP, it helped me figure out how to decode things or break it down to simple ways of processing. And so I can listen to something over and over again, or I can break it down to where I get the simple pieces to it. And so I think the beauty of FasterEFT is that I simplified it, make it user-friendly, easy to share, easy to use anywhere you go. Now this is of course my perspective on it. And so this is how I see FasterEFT is a belief system, FasterEFT is a tool, FasterEFT has a structure within it, and FasterEFT is easy to use and easy to share. And so that's what FasterEFT is. It's a belief system. It's a thinking system. It operates with what you're doing inside your head. And once I think, the analogy is that, I have a new truck. It's not so new now, but I had a flat. And of course, I know how to change flats. So here it is, I'm on the side of the road, I got a flat. And I looked everywhere on this truck, and there's no jack. Couldn't find it nowhere. Parts and pieces, I looked everywhere. And then I couldn't figure out how to get the tire out. So, I have a laptop, I have a Mac right here in front of me, and I use it, and I know how to take it apart, put a new hard drive in, put memory in it, put it back together. But if you don't know how to do that, you could be trying all kinds of things or probably not do it or just learn to deal with your problems because you don't have the understanding and the skill set of what's going on inside the computer, how to change a flat. Some people never change a flat and they haven't the clue on what to do. And so it was like a friend of mine. I mean, she's been going to all kinds of doctors. She has this horrible headache, doctor after doctor, and they're talking about doing surgery and seeing what's in there. And they did surgery and they still have headaches. And then one day she went to the dentist. She went to the dentist and had a rotten tooth, pulled it out, headaches went away. And the problem is that in our lives, we tried all kinds of different things to solve the problem. And the real problem is actually what you're doing inside yourself, what you're thinking. It's the memories you hold and what you do to you, by yourself, within yourself, either consciously and usually, most of the time, unconsciously. So it's just showing you how your brain works. So that's what FasterEFT is. Oh, it's a long story, but that's pretty much the simplicity of it. Let's see, I'm looking at some of these here. All right, so here I'm going to start with the first question here and see if I can answer it. Can FasterEFT help with symptoms of ADD and ADHD? Here's the deal with ADD and ADHD. First of all, it is a coping skill. It's an internal processing of information. And so most people think, people who don't know what it is, they think it's disease or some kind of disorder. But the individuals I work with who have ADD or ADHD, basically what they're doing inside their mind is they're processing information. Like one individual I'm working with, she says, she was diagnosed and she was very young and, given this title, you have ADD or ADHD. And so she came to see me for sessions and I started working with her and come to find out, of course they diagnosed her in school, she can't focus, she can't do all this stuff, but you take a child who's have this label, but yet they can spend hours focusing on a game. But when they go to school, they couldn't. So, and I was working with her and she said, well, I'm sitting in school, I can't learn. I have ADD or ADHD. And I said, what's going on inside your head when you're at school? I said, well, I know what's going on inside my head. First of all, because I know what's going to happen when I get home. So all day, she said, I'm worrying about what's going to happen. Is it going to happen again like it did the day before? Am I going to get beaten? Or am I going to get abused? Now, that's just one individual. So can you learn if you're stressed out? You have all kinds of things going in your head. Another person with ADD or ADHD, in their mind, they say, I have all these TVs, all these images, and I got to keep aware of everything going on, and I can't even focus on what's going on right now. Now, this is internal processing. Can FasterEFT help with this? Yes. And the key of doing this is stepping inside the mind of the individual and also getting the program that they're using to stay alive or to have this problem about school. One kid I worked with, actually it was one of Deirdre's nephews, he was diagnosed dyslexia, which basically means he'd write everything backwards. He hated school, and his father had booked a phone session with me and him, and they were there. And all I did is I did something very simple. I said, have him write down 100 things he hates about school. And they said, that's an impossible task. How can a little boy write 100 things down? Well, 20 minutes later, he gives a list. I do the session. And of course, I hit some good stuff, some emotional stuff, and the parents are tapping on him. I'm just guiding him through it. The next morning, he's up and ready to go to school. He's just unusual behavior. And the truth is that this boy's life changed by addressing the emotional intensity about school. A lot of children, and even others, they're ripped from their family at 4 or 5 years old, and they're forced in this environment that's scary, and they create what you call an emotional system to survive. And that's why oftentimes they're diagnosed ADD or ADHD. It's an internal processing of information. And by the way, that same boy, he is on the, I think on the, what you call the upper level class is like super, super smart, and they moved him into the smartest class now. And of course he was feeling sad because all his friends weren't in that class. So again, it's about the mind. It's about how people process. Can it help with symptoms? Of course. Now here's something interesting. FasterEFT works with everybody and every person, because what it does, it actually gives you control. It actually helps you lessen the stress, lessen the emotions as you aim at whatever it is that's creating it. So, I always said it works on everybody if they stop long enough to use it. It won't work on people who don't use it. I mean, it's sitting there waiting for them, but if they don't use it, they don't want it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work on dead people either. Well, unless they're inside you. So these are the people that it can and cannot work with. Kathy says, I get stressed out dealing with difficult people. I tap on the stressful situations afterwards. What is the best way to end the tapping session in a positive way? Well, there's several ways. Addressing the problem at hand, first of all, stressed out with dealing with difficult people. Some people deal with difficult people all the time. They're not stressed out. So what we would do is usually probably do art of change, which basically, have you ever had this experience before? What's the worst part about this? Look at your past memories and experiences, and you clean this up. And then understanding where's your value come from. Does it come from other people, come from yourself? And it's actually your response to them. Now, granted, there are people out there who have problems, no doubt. There are people who say horrible things about you, no doubt. Or they don't like you, no doubt. Or they act in ways that you don't approve of, no doubt. But here's the key. Are you going to let it bother you? And so what you do is you keep tapping on your reaction, your perception, and how you deal with it. That means you don't have to go hang with them, but you want to make sure that you work on yourself and clean yourself up first. Secondly, to make it feel good at the end is what we would do, and we do in level 1 training now, is I train people how to use their happy journal. The happy journal is a process and teaches you how to be in control of your emotional states, which means it's easy to feel good even right now. It's so simple. I did a presentation here locally in Oklahoma City, 120 therapists, and I just showed them how to feel good for no reason. And it's very simple. All you have to do is remember a good time, go back and pretend as if you were there, see what you saw, hear what you heard, and you just feel good. This is a simple way to break state. Feel good for no reason by merely changing your focus. And as you change your focus, you change. By the way, you could sit here, listen to me, and you can think of something that bothers you, and as you focus, you start to feel bothered. So what we want to do is teach you what you call emotional intelligence or personal power. Again, where's your value? Does my value come from them, or does it come from here and how you process information? So the simple way is, I always say, practice feeling good, have your happy memories handy, go practice. Feel good for no reason. So that's how you do it. Now also re-imprinting memories, like if you're dealing with a past memory that's always bothered you, you have to understand that every person inside your mind is yourself. That means inside you, there's only you. Even though you recorded whatever happened, it's still you. You're holding the memory, you're the movie director and all actors in your memories. Because honestly, you're by yourself right now, or there could be people around, but it's you're driving the show, you're focusing and you're creating from your own inner worlds. So that's the first and most important thing. You're in control and you're focusing and you're creating. All right, so what changes are happening with those who took a home study course? What changes are happening? Thank you, keep up the good work. Well, currently the home study course, I honestly believe that the home study course is the best place to start. Since some of these, the home study course covers things that I haven't been able to cover in like a live track A training, which is live training. Track B is the home study course. The home study course has a lot of DVDs to watch. We are in the process to add more to it. Now, how we're going to do that is we're going to do videos. We'll do videos online. We just recently launched the new website. Of course, we're still tweaking things and trying to get everything working properly. But what we will do is we'll have what you call I don't know, maybe like call amendments or pieces that we want you to be up speed with. But again, I think, again, if I were to, if you're my kid and I say, hey, I want to learn FasterEFT, I say, buy the home study course, watch it over and over again, do your notes, practice it, and then you can also watch the nuances, even in some of the new recent videos that I've uploaded within the last year or two. And the new website, our goal is to have videos that are not going to be on YouTube, and they're just going to be on my website, and I have years of footage. So that's my goal, is to have that available for you to watch. And also, we're going to create what you call training modules for those who have track B and also for track A, because what I've noticed, of course, some of you may know my history. Of course, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not trained in any other therapies. I bought Gary Craig's The Emotional Freedom Technique, his course, his manual, and his therapy, Ultimate Therapist VHS tapes. And so that's my only training. So I modeled after the EFT, which usually back then I would do level 1 in 2 days. And then later on I changed level 1 and 2 for 5 days. And over the period of time, I've noticed that what I want to convey and want people to know, they weren't getting in a couple of days. And so then I expanded it from 2 days to 7 days, level 1. Well, those of you who've been to level 1 trainings, and like previously, except for this year, it is so packed with information, you're still not getting what I want. And so, and there's people who are coming to FasterEFT from all walks of life, like I was with EFT. They have no training in psychotherapy, no training in other things, and they usually come because they have problems and they want to sort themselves out. And then they fall in love with FasterEFT, and they go out there and they still have the emotional issues. Some people have, if you call them disorders or emotional big issues, they're still impacting people with this. And so what I discovered is that what we need to do now is to empower the practitioner first. That means we want to train them to do specific tasks, and also so that when they work with other people, when they become certified to work with other people, then what you'll do is you'll be a healthier practitioner. You'll know how to do certain things that I hadn't been able to teach in the past, such as how to do the happy journal, how to do the art of change properly, and how to re-imprint memories in a way that we know that's very effective. So this is the new stuff that we're now starting with. And as a bonus to all those who've already been trained live, normally we charge $450 for, to retake the 7 days, which is 7 days level 1. We lowered it down to $225 for 7 days to get reacclimated into the system. We're now working on creating, I don't know exactly how we're going to call this, Association of FasterEFT or Society of or Academy of, but what we want to do is we want to create what you call a very good standard in which everybody can follow, and everybody has what you call a tested and fine-tuned skills, so that when they go to whoever, what level, they actually have the new training standards, and they will be very, very good. So that is in progress. And thanks to Diana Cottle and Gary Craig's encouragement and encouraging us to improve, that's what we're doing. So we're just going to just keep working on it, make it better. So anyway, so that's what's going to happen. Right now, you have the system, work the system that you currently have, and then later on, we'll have new training modules for you. Let's see. All right, so Joanne says, when a person has a blockage, me tapping on myself, I keep crying, and how do you get to the other side where the pain is totally gone? Okay, so let's kind of look at the sentence structure here. Blockage, me tapping on myself. All right, there's a belief system about ourselves, and we learn this from where we come from. On yourself, to you can't trust yourself with yourself, and there's no blockage, there's just a fear there. So one of the things is you may want to address the fears about tapping on yourself, which means, who will you be if you work on yourself, afraid of going inside yourself, and work on this. And by the way, the truth is, when I began working on myself, and it's like a lot of other people, we had a lot of stuff inside of us. And there is no substitute for plowing in and cleaning up. That means, like, if you got a bunch of problems, when you start, there's a bunch of problems, emotional intense, Your focus, keep tapping, keep tapping, keep tapping. Over the times, what's going to happen is going to fade off and disappear. If you don't work on yourself, the problems are still there. But also what you want to do is make sure you create a balance. You don't want to sit around looking at all your stuff all day long, the bad stuff. So what you want to do is balance it out to where you may work on a bad memory, and you re-imprint the memory, turn it into a positive. There's certain ways. There's 6 basic ways that we do that. A quick overview of what those 6 ways. First of all, just by tapping on the emotions and feelings, the unconscious mind will spontaneously re-imprint the memory. It'll just change just by tapping. Secondly, we do facial expressions. You change all faces in the memories to where everybody's smiling. Third, we tap on the actions, change the actions where it's from hitting to hugging. And the next one is what we'll do is trading places, because again, we understand the 4 perceptual positions of our mind, which means how we represent the world in our head. Everything inside of us is ourself, and so we trade places and we clean up all memories and references. And then, of course, new resources. Since we understand that the past is over and it doesn't exist, you can't change the past because it's gone, but you can change how you hold and represent the past internally, which means how you hold it will determine your value as a person, how you act, and how you perform. And so if you have memories that aren't so good, if you change them, your life changes. Because again, memories, encoded memories and experiences are just merely programs. It's just like your brain is a PC, and it picked up this program. Now, of course, the program may not be a good one. You pick the value of it. I'm not worth anything. And then that program continues to play until you upgrade the program. You may, hit the trash button and put a better program in there, and you start acting differently. Memories are just, I call them emotional deposits in your mental emotional bank account. Whatever's in there, there's going to be an interest paid. I mean, it's going to build and build and build, and your unconscious mind will use it and produce something. It may produce depression, happiness, no money, lots of money, love, no love, depending on what you hold. Value, no value. So again, re-imprinting memories is what FasterEFT is about. Changing your internal world, you change the programs, and which means also if the structure of problems is that belief, my value, is built from proofs, internal references, and emotions, the other piece. The emotions is a solidifier, makes it get reality. When you change both of these and you put something else in there, you have a new belief system, you act differently, and you are different. Your law of attraction means you attract what you are, not what you're trying to put in, what you already carry. So anyway, what do you do is, first of all, you balance yourself out, you tap, and plow through it. And I highly recommend getting you a FasterEFT practitioner, especially the ones who've been trained in the last couple of years, because they have the newest of the new system. The home study course is very good. Those who've been through that is very, very good. But what you want to do is keep working on what it is that you need to work on. And as you do that, you're going to get good changes. Let's see if I answered that correctly. Keep crying, and how do you get to the other side where the pain is totally gone? Well, I think the key is understanding how your brain works and also changing internal representations. That's the big key. And there's no substitute by just keep cleaning it up. And here's the biggest problem I see people do is they actually believe everything inside their mind. They believe everything is in there. And that's where the problem is, because again, the past is over and it doesn't exist. So what you hold seems real. It's a hypnotic state. It's a trance. And when you start noticing it's just a trance, it's just a program, then you can change the value of it and change how you do you from it. So that's a big understanding. It's a perceptual shift. This is the same one here. It says, I'm currently track B. How's it going to change over the next year? I've answered that. Can I still complete level 3 track B? Yes, you can. Thomas says, I'd really like to learn how this process works so I can overcome my sugar addiction, feelings of lack and limitation, so I can grow my practice and create health, wealth, and abundance. Well, first of all, it's very simple. Overcome your sugar addiction. It's very simple. With any addictions, it has its resources. So sugar. Now, of course, when he says sugar addiction, he's not saying I take a 5-pound bag of sugar and I eat from it. It means donuts or sweets or candies. Each of these foods have what you call emotional resources. That means there's relationships with people, there's experiences. When you eat it, it does something inside you. There's a physical aspect to it as well, but if you change the emotional aspect, it can affect the physical. The best way is to, first of all, you need to address the judgment about it. You need to change the emotional references, because usually when you have any addiction, there are many legs to this. First of all, there's a connection with somebody, a love connection or an association. There's also a social connection. It could be friends and family, love, whatever's here. There is an internal connection. That means it does something inside your body. It produces something. And another thing too is, it's really cool, is what I did in one of the weight loss seminars, when I did those, I would have people, and I wouldn't tell them exactly my goal was, but I'd say, hey guys, next week I'd like for you to bring your favorite foods. And I'd just like to see what it is that you love, all right? And of course, you know, they go and get their food, and some of them are smart. They go, well, if I bring it, Robert's going to help change it. But what I do is that there's many aspects to weight and addictions, but one aspect is this food does something for you. It brings you love, it brings you something, and you actually got to change that to where food has the value of nutrition. No other value. You're not getting a love fix. You're not getting any other fix. It's just food. Now, of course, since we're so hypnotically induced, entranced, and conditioned, that's where the battle is, because, you know, it's connected to my mother, it's connected to friends, so it can be easily done, but you're going to have to do the work, and that is put the food in front of you and look at it. Notice you respond, tap out the response. Imagining tasting it, tap out the taste. Smell it in your mind, tap that out, and then smell it for real, tap out the smell. Taste it for real, tap it out to where you can, and then there's other things that you could do, but this is pretty simple with food. And also, well, that's pretty simple. That's easy. By the way, there's videos on YouTube. I think there's a lady with a Coke addiction, Coca-Cola addiction, and I think there's a couple others on there. And also there is the training DVDs. There's the weight loss DVDs that we have as well. So you can do that. All right, so the next question is, Brandon says, trying to clear out financial beliefs and change. I'm better, but I still have not cleared or changed it yet. Still working on it. So trying to clear financial beliefs and change. All right. Again, this is a very typical problem, you know, your beliefs. Again, all questions are answered the same way when it comes to any problem. First of all, there's a structure to the problem. There's a feedback, there's connections with people, there's a historical reasons why, and there is a payoff from it. So, you know, of course, I don't know what country this person is, but I'm raised here in Oklahoma, the Bible Belt, and of course, you know, people who don't have money curse people who do. They have ideas about money. They have money also represents love. Money also represents God. Money also represents your family, your dear dad, your mom, and those relationships. So if you have these memories of mom and dad having financial issues, your mom and dad aren't in your head. This is teaching you how to stay in alignment with that. So in order to do that, you need to go back and change your references, and then also check out your beliefs, and then change those by tapping. But if you hold a memory in your mind, this memory keeps you in alignment with it, even if it's a memory of somebody else, or TV affirmations, or whatever it is that you use to create this. So that's how you would do that. Still working on it. Again, there are some issues that I've worked on that are still a little bit there, not so much as it used to be, but there's still stuff. My friends tell me I have problems, and I believe them. You can see with the people I hang with. Peace. So I'm interested in using the technique and to be a coach of life, but I don't know how to start. Gully. Well, I always say start, depends on where you are financially. You know, you can, of course, I'm going to say FasterEFT, of course. I would start with a home study course If you can't financially do the home study course, you can, watch the stuff on videos on YouTube, start implementing in your life. When you clean up your own emotional issues where you feel better about stepping in and being a coach, I recommend home study course, do the course, watch it, tap along, start practicing and fine-tuning your skills. Secondly, come to live seminars. Live seminars are very dynamic, they're very powerful, they're fun, they're challenging, and you find a new friend. And we all support each other and help each other. It says, why is EFT so temporary? Well, I'm not for sure exactly what they mean. Temporary. Well, so let's talk about the structure of problems again. There's several ways of tapping. One, tap in the heat of moment when things bother you. Secondly, go deeper. Most people are not very skilled at going inside themselves, and even some of the practitioners, and FasterEFT practitioners, they'll tap until they feel better, but they don't tap until they're done. Which means if you understand that your brain has programs, and of course it expresses emotions, you can tap on the emotions and it could lessen the program, but if the program still has enough resources, you'll still produce from it. So FasterEFT is about stepping into your thinking, stepping in your belief system, stepping in what are you doing to yourself to create from yourself. It is temporary if you're only putting a slight emotional release. But over time, the more you do it, the less it could become. That's the long way of doing it. I just say just go deep, address the memories, address the resources, and the best way to do that is the art of change. And that is, the simplified version of the art of change is, how do I know? Write the references. Have I ever done this before? Ever experienced this before? Write all the proof and references. Next is, do I know anyone else who has this problem? Like memories of references of family. Write all the proofs that you have inside yourself. If this problem were 1,000 times worse, it got worse and worse and worse fear about it, write out the worst fear about it, because this one here is probably what's driving the whole system. And if the problem was gone, completely gone, what bad things will happen? That there will find a good reason why to keep the problem. And you tap and you change all the memories, the problem will shift and change. There's real work here. All right, so temporary. Temporary is if you're not going to where the real cause is. So, Heather writes, I'm a level 3 track B. Will there be a requirement that I attend live training to stay certified? I would love to attend all 3 levels of training, but I'm not earning anything yet, and as a practitioner, therefore not be able to. Now here's the truth about certification. So what we're doing is we're going to create this system that I'm going to say it's kind of like a nursing system or a doctor system or a psychology system. I'm not really familiar with all those, but I understand basically is that CE units, and that means we want to keep fine-tuning your skills to become better. You don't necessarily have to attend a live seminar, but what we will have available, like there's one of the things that we're working on now. I have a set of videos on Vimeo, which is the language of the body, which is a Heal Your Body seminar, which will be required for all practitioners to take because of the fact that we get to deal with physical pains. And I don't have it completely finished. I mean, the videos are there, but we're going to write out the course on how we want you to do it. First of all, just this is off the top of my head. What I want you to know is the structure of pain, how pain works, how to change it, and also notice how those individuals who had pain and what did they do to free themselves from pain. Now we have great examples of that. We have Maya, for example, 10 years of fibromyalgia. We have Tiffany and Heather, and they both explained what they did and how they did it to get rid of the pain. We have Rose Hartgrove. Now she also had lupus. Her blood test showed she had lupus. Then after, within like, I think August to, I think it was either June or February, the doctor called her and said that your lupus is remission. That means it's not showing very strong or not at all. So how did they do that? And so that's one of the things that we're going to do. Also, we're uploading the relationship seminar. So the structure of the trainings are now changing to make you a better practitioner. What I used to do in level 1 is I would basically give the belief system, a FasterEFT, you're to know how to do the quick tap, and you're learning a lot of different techniques. Well, the problem is there's just so much information. People are overwhelmed because, first of all, they're coming with all their emotional garbage, and they're scared, and they have their own emotional issues, and a lot of it's stuff they can't capture. So we lessened it. We're empowering the individuals, and then usually on level 3, I would do, pain, grief and loss. I would do addictions and weight loss, and we're doing that in 5 days. And each one of those are 5 to 7 day training. So I thought, well, what we'll do is we'll just make it where it's a lot easier for people to do it. So where you don't have to spend thousands of dollars to take, to go to Oklahoma or Adelaide or Australia or Europe, anywhere. You can actually do it from your own computer. But you still have to do the work, and you have to prove that you've done the work, so then we test that as well. So this is some of the things that you can do. If you're coming from the Track B course, home study course, great course, but you're going to learn a lot more because there is a structural shift in how we address things. So it's going to be really nice for you because it's, you're always learning. But we are going to have it where everyone who's been certified previous to this year, they need to come through the system and make sure they know what they're supposed to do. Because here's some of the problems I see. Some of the individuals who are taking the course partly level 1 is a lot of information, and they're being emotionally triggered, and they're out in the hallway tapping out their emotions, and they're not learning. And so what we're going to do now is just make it easier and make sure that when you have been to the newer system, you have a really fine training, and you'll be even better than what you are now. So that's what we do, is make everyone super, super wonderful. And the way to do that is to clean up the training, which, it was good, but now it's going to be better. All right, I hope that makes sense. I'm not sure how long this meeting is. Probably, I think it's about an hour. All right, this is Al. Is it required to be physically on site for all courses? I kind of basically answered that. In order to practice FasterEFT, is any kind of license required? Is this interpreted as a medical procedure? No. Now he's talking about somebody who created a church. You probably know this. Well, see, FasterEFT, the nice thing about FasterEFT is what you call a neutral system. It's not spiritual, it's not unspiritual. It operates from facts. Basically, if you understand the structure of FasterEFT, why we have problems, which means that we can go anywhere. That's why we avoid the word energy, because energy has a weird connotation. Energy is everywhere. Energy is God. Energy is spirit. And if we want to reach everybody, if we speak and address the real problem, which is basically memories, emotions, and stress, and you go anywhere and say, hey, we can help with your stress, or we can help lessen the emotions. But if you go in there and say, hey, we're going to change the energy in this room, they could have all kinds of weird ideas. But what FasterEFT will do, will have its association or membership of, and we will have our own guidelines, a code of conduct, and also, how to properly behave and act. We are not medical doctors. There's no medical anything, but we are just stress and emotional experts. So we're going to fine tune that as well. But that's in the future. We're all working on it now as we speak. How do you tap on depression? Now, that's a tricky question. Is it even possible? Now, tap on depression. Now, you can write the word down and tap on it as much as you want. What is depression? Depression is something you're doing, something you have in your mind. Now, I work with a lot of people who are depressed. Depression is an internal process. It's a belief system. It's an attitude. I've never had anybody come to see me and said, hey, I'm depressed because, there's ink, or there's ink toner was spilt in the office. Now everybody's in the office depressed. Or, now granted, there are some foods and some drugs will depress you, lessen you, or most of the time it's usually deals with a belief system that you learned from your family, acute depression, like my dog died, I lost my job, my husband left me, my wife left me. Those, it's easy, just go and change those. If you have a bad attitude about yourself, you got to change the attitude. Now, the reason why you have a bad attitude about yourself is because you've had experiences with other people who had bad attitudes and kind of gave you some of theirs. and you just become a good student. So that's how you do it. You address the real cause, which is your thinking. By the way, happiness is a chemical problem too. So it's not the chemicals that make it, it's your thinking system, your emotions and your references. Always seek your doctor's advice as well. And by the way, if you're on antidepressants, always see your doctor. Stay on any drugs that your doctor prescribes and anything like that. Always, always, always seek medical advice from your doctor or whoever else that knows more. How do I deal with being lost in inner conflict when I can't remove myself from a situation? Example, my husband's betrayal. Well, first of all, you're going to have to address your husband. You're going to have to address how it affects you, the emotions, the feelings, and your past betrayals, and your past references, and the meaning you give to this. People make mistakes. I don't know what he did, or he cheated or whatever it is, but, I don't know the situation. There's a lot of relationships got even better after something like this happened because, first of all, they addressed their emotions, they addressed their hurts, they addressed their pains, they talked about it, they forgave each other, and they started actually creating a better relationship. So it depends on what you do with this. Now, if you're sitting around, like there's this guy, for example, true story, by the way. He had a dream. He woke up from a dream, and a dream basically said his wife cheated on him. And so he kept asking her, did you cheat on me? Did you cheat on me? And she goes, I did one time about 10 years ago. And so this guy was very stupid. He wanted to know exactly all details. Now here it is. He had a great job. He was happily married and all this stuff. And so he got so curious and she told everything. She didn't want to, but she loves this guy. And so he told all the stories about it. And all of a sudden, a year and a half later, he's suicidal. He hates his job. He hates his life. And so, he came to see me and I said, hey, what's going on? So, I'm driving to work and I'm thinking about what she did. And he's seeing pictures and movies of what they did and all this stuff. And he's tormenting himself back and forth. So he created a life of misery for himself. Well, we sorted it out. But the point is, it's what you do to yourself about the event. Address your fears, address your worries, work on the relationship and improve it. Next question. Michelle, I'm a long-time EFT practitioner and FasterEFT enthusiast. When tapping on my physical issues, aches and pains, fatigue, menopause symptoms, I don't experience the kind of results that my clients do. Any suggestions? Thank you. Well, first of all, again, I keep going back to art change, the structure, how you do what you're doing inside your head, your belief system. You have to understand too, pain has its benefits. Pain has its proof and references. Pain keeps you in alignment with something. If I'm looking at aches and pains, fatigue, menopause symptoms, all of these are addressable. But the deal is first of all, is persistently work on yourself. One of the biggest mistakes I see with people who are in the helping business is they help everybody else and they ignore themselves. They neglect themselves. They don't tap on themselves. They're out to save the world, and then their life is falling apart. That's the biggest mistake, and one of the biggest things that we impress upon our practitioners that first of all, you need sessions, and you have to get sessions as a part of the requirements. Next is know how your mind works, know how to process, know how to feel good, know how to feel bad, know how to shift your states, know how to be in control of your own personal state and have healthiness and well-being. That is primary. So what I suggest doing is you need to find your practitioner, get you a good FasterEFT practitioner, and let them sort you out. That's my best advice. Personally, you need to work on yourself, and I know probably you do, hopefully you do. Most of the time, people in this business don't. I do. I need more. I'd probably be dead if I hadn't been tapping. I have, Jocelyn says, I have osteoarthritis on my right thumb last year, and now it's transformed to the left thumb. I've been trying to cure it with different alternative medicines, including FasterEFT, and it's still there. What else can I do? Well, here's the problem when they say, I address it with FasterEFT. Tapping on it is not necessarily addressing it with FasterEFT. FasterEFT is a thinking system, an internal processing system. So you can tap at it with FasterEFT, but the key of FasterEFT is not tapping. Tapping is the smallest piece. It's less than 5%. 95% of what we do in FasterEFT is going into the structure of the problem, how you're doing it, what are you doing, and then changing that. Because I work with people, like some of you may have bought the digital download of Heather McKean or even Tiffany Jiffers, and there's a lady who is in France, I don't remember what her name is, and I address their pain. And you know what most of the time I spent time on? Not the pain. Matter of fact, some of them I didn't even address the pain hardly. I addressed the emotional references because pain has its hypnosis. Pain has its trances. And so what the mind does is utilize its experiences in the past and it starts to make it real. And you can see the logic to how the brain works by merely thinking something positive. As you think it, you feel it. Think something negative, you think it, you feel it. This is how pain works. Your brain encodes the world and it makes it real in your body. If you don't release the emotional charge, you don't change how you represent it, what's going to happen is your brain will start manifesting it in physical pain. That's how it works. By the way, always seek medical advice. Ask your doctor exactly what you need to do. Peace out. Also address your anger. How do I tap in positive affirmations using FasterEFT method? Well, here's, that's a loaded question. One way is find the affirmation. Say it out loud and see if there's any resistance to it. If there is resistance, you tap it to where there's no resistance. You don't have to tap to make affirmations work because affirmations work without tapping. As a matter of fact, when you feel bad or when you say things or feel things, those are affirmations. So with FasterEFT understanding, affirmations are anything you affirm. How do you affirm? Inside your mind, you can see a positive picture or a negative picture. Those both are affirmations. Affirmations are physical sensations in your body, positive or negative. They're both affirmations without a picture. Affirmations are auditory. Things you say, things that other people say, positive or negative, those are affirmations. Affirmations are smells and also tastes. So there's many ways to create an affirmation with FasterEFT. You can have spatial affirmations, locations where you tap in the positive. There's lots of ways. Those are just some of them. With a new training level 1, we'd go into more affirmations because that's what we definitely need our practitioners to be, is very positive, very self-empowered, and also creating a life that they want. Which reminds me of, I'm emotional. Heather McKean, for example, before she came 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, she came to FasterEFT. She was bedridden. I mean, the chiropractor had to come to her home and to give her an adjustment, and then she came to the seminar that weekend. I pulled her up and I tapped on her. Now, what she didn't know, and most you don't know, is that evening she spent time tapping on herself, all by herself, tap, 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 and addressing emotional stuff. And then she came to level 2, which is she's still living in the same place in Virginia, I believe, and she kept tapping, and her life is improving. And then she moved to Africa as a missionary and helping the missionaries. And then just now she's recently moved to Hawaii. Now she said when we were in Hawaii, she goes, I'm living a life of dreams. I would have never in a million years ever believed that I'd be here in Hawaii, living this life, helping people, and doing the job that I do. If it had not been me working on me, this is what the key is. Because, see, you're going to create a life either by default, which means all the crap that you have experienced in your head, good and bad, usually the bad I'm talking about, you're going to start creating a life built on what you have. Now, if you go inside your mind, you change it, change the proof and references and emotions, you're going to start creating a life by intention instead of by default. Affirmations. What are affirmations? What you think inside your head. It's just be watching a movie inside your head, good or bad. Feeling things, positive or negative, those are affirmations. And then saying things, positive or negative, or replaying what other people say to you, positive or negative. Those are affirmations. So you can tap it in, or you can just do it like you used to do it. New visualizations, changing what you're doing inside of yourself. All right, so next. I have fibromyalgia since 1999, arthritis and GIT issues. I'm not sure what that is. For as long as I can remember, what to change so that the rest of my life is free from these conditions. I want to release whatever it is that's holding me in this pattern. Well, of course, you know, as I said before, always seek medical care, ask your doctor. But I will say this, individuals who used to have fibromyalgia, they utilize the power of their mind. And basically, how I see fibromyalgia is your body expressing unresolved emotional experiences and issues, my opinion. So what I did with other people and other people have done for themselves is they went to the memories and experiences that were unpleasant, and it's usually the ones you don't want to look at. It's usually the pains you don't want to admit. It's usually the things that you never want to visit. So for a lot of people, I'd rather you beat me with a stick than to deal with my emotions. And so if you're really serious about it, work on those things you don't want to look at. Be brave enough to step in there and just do what you need to do. That's my honest, good opinion. You can create the life you want. There are so many people who used to have fibromyalgia. And definitely that's the way to do it. Again, you know, scientifically proven over and over again, the mind has a great ability to heal the body. Over and over again, scientifically proven. And you can see this in that's called the placebo. The placebo is the mind's ability to heal itself in spite of the fake operation or fake drug. It's not the sugar that did it, and it's not the fake operation. It's what they were doing in their head. You can do it too. I'll show you how. All right, so let me ask, because I don't really know. Stephanie, how long do I have? Do I have an hour or 2 hours? Just type it there on Skype. All right, so next is oh, I can go as long as I need. God, I'd be here for hours. I won't be. All right, here's a good question. I'm dealing with a schizophrenic adult son. And this is his diagnosis. It's been there for years. It's very hard to help him as we have little money. He's on disability, but barely pays his bills. How do you get the flip when the person is so close? Well, this is an interesting question. First of all, if you understand how schizophrenia works, their inner world is just as real as their outer world, and they believe the inner world just like their outer world, like the rest of you. They usually have bigger reasons to deal and cope with it. How do you, as a parent, to be able to help them? First of all, my honest opinion is, first, work on yourself. Work on your judgment, work on your pains, work on your worries about this son. Clean yourself up first. And the reason I say that is, once you do that, then what you can do is start helping them in a way that they're willing to let you help them. You can't force anybody to do anything. You have to understand that. We have the right, they have the right to stay in their mess and their misery. And you have the right to stay in your mess and your misery if they don't fix themselves. So you need to stop tormenting yourself. Forgive yourself, clean up yourself, and do what's right for yourself. How do you help them if you're so close? Well, if you're a practitioner, it's pretty simple. You do no content memories. Teach them how to do it, because my whole goal is, as a coach or a trainer or just Mr. FasterEFT, my mission is, first of all, educate you, empower you, have you take full ownership of your own behavior. That means when you change yourself, you're in control of yourself, and you're helping yourself, you can be a better impact in your environment. And that means your family members, you can be a better practitioner. That's my goal. My goal is to say, you know, I teach you, I show you, I'll help you, and you take the reins. That means you take control. When you have individual family members who you're trying to fix, the weird thing about this is all your life you're probably trying to fix them, and they're going, Mom, leave me alone. And so then they start thinking, what's wrong with me? Mom always trying to change me and fix me. That's where the big problem is. So if you fix this, that you got to solve their problems and change their stuff, then everything gets better. So you release the emotional charge of this. And as you do that, everything gets better for you and them. Because then all of a sudden, you're operating from power, not weakness. And that's the key to all this. Is operate from personal power, not weakness. All right. So what's the next thing? Let's see. All right. When a client has no memory of an event, when probed with submodalities and they have very low physical sensations, what do? Can this problem be solved with FasterEFT? 40% hearing loss resulting in a blast of an explosion? Question mark. All right. So here's the deal. What most people don't understand. What is memory? Most people think memory is a visual construction. All right. It is not just that. Memory is a kinesthetic, a physical expression. So if you understand that, then you can start changing memory. Because I have people come see me and they say, I have no memories. You know, I have a problem, but I have no memories. Well, now, if they didn't have a problem and they have no memories, why are they asking the question? Because first of all, they don't understand how memory works. You can change a problem with a person who doesn't feel feelings, but they have visual internal representations. The internal representations, whether it's a visual construction or auditory construction or a taste or smell, just by merely tapping on the submodalities or modalities and how they represent it, can shift it and change it. Also changing the memories of the experience and what they heard and what they felt back then. Again, understanding what memories are. How does memories work? Yeah. This is the deeper parts of understanding. Hi, Robert. I have blocks. Blocks. How do you know you have blocks? I don't believe in blocks. Which keeps me from focusing on my studies. I end up doing anything except what I need to do. Any advice or guidance would be gratefully received and appreciated. All right, so here's the deal. You don't have blocks, all right? You have a resistance, you have a belief, you have a fear, and all you do is look at the studies. Why do I not want to do it? What is it inside me? Do I have proof and reasons? Where am I stressing myself out? Where's my fears and where's my emotional issues about doing it? This is why you don't want to do it. This is the key. So address your belief system. What is it that you're using to keep yourself from doing it? You clean it up, you change it, and also put some positive in there. You know, there's a video on YouTube. I don't know the number, but you can type in procrastination. She had a paper she needed to write. And all you do is we just clean up the resistance to it, find where the passion is, and put it in your studies. Have fun. It's basically, it's FasterEFT. It's about thinking. Let me just make sure I covered everything. By the way, this is a typical coping skill. Avoid what you don't want to do. Avoid what you need to do. Avoid what you have inside you. It's called avoidaholic or avoidism. Everyone does it at some extent. Some are bigger. We call those addicts, avoidaholics. They'll use anything to escape. And that's another big program. I have a question on how tapping can be used to address dealing with chronic pain from perpetual neuropathy. I don't know what the hell it is. For several years, I have noticed that I've had a hard time expressing myself emotionally and wonder if that's the cause. Who knows? But I will say this. Go change your emotions. Go change how you feel about this issue. Change when it happened. Change where it happened. Change what you believe about it. Change how you represent it in the future. Change anything and everything around it. And I guarantee you, you'll feel better. The pain may go away or it may stay there and you just won't even notice it. So it just depends. Address your emotions and the belief system behind it. Helena, how to tap my problems away with, I don't know what this word, problems, occur daily that pile up. I can't leave the source of my problems. Maybe that's it. How to tap my problems away that occur daily and pile up. Well, first of all, how do you tap? All the time. Go to the bathroom, tap on it, mentally tap on it, physically tap on it. You know, you can just use flag, tom, tar, rep process. But the key is when things happen, you keep plowing through this. There's no substitute for changing the cause, which is belief system, past references, who you learned it from. If you change this, it's easy. It's like the lady who said, Robert, you know, I'm tapping on my hot flashes, and after I tap, they go away like that. I don't understand why they keep coming back. Every time they happen, boom, I tap and they're gone. I said, what you need to do is address what you believe about them. Your belief, your fears about it, your ideas about it, and change that, because your brain is the one that's creating it, your unconscious mind, and you can shift the brain. So that's the key. Again, go back to the structure. See, a lot of times, I mean, most of you guys are probably watching the videos on YouTube. Not everything's on there. There's like probably this much on YouTube, and there's this much that's not on YouTube. There's a lot there, but the key is understanding the structure of your thinking and how you create and manifest within yourself. All right, so what time is it? It's been an hour. I got a few more questions and I'll call it a day. Hi, Robert. I have a question on how tapping can be used to address dealing with chronic pain. That's the same word, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I can tap every day, but it seems it doesn't work for me, and I can't get rid of my negative thinking and projection that does not work. Protection does not work. I would like to let it go, but it seems that I'm not able to. All right, so look at this, Barbara. Every day, but it doesn't seem to work for me. All right, so here's the problem. You can tap until the cows come home and get no results. You can tap. People say, I tap all day long and get no results. I say, you're not tapping on the right thing. It's not the points. It's tapping on what you're doing inside your head. It's what you're practicing inside your mind. It's what you're creating inside your head. You have to break down the proofs, the references, the beliefs, and the attitude, all a part of it. If you do that part, you'll get results. It's breaking it down to what you're doing and why you do it to keep it going. You know, you see, here's the problem too. You know, we got people, most of us are escapaholics. You have this problem, and the best thing to do is to go eat, go drink, go smoke, go clean, shop, read, anything, but not deal with the problem. And you can find this on YouTube. It says there's no escape but one. And the escape is actually going inside yourself and addressing what you're doing to yourself. You know, FasterEFT will never solve your problems, because FasterEFT is a toothbrush that lays on the table. You've got to pick it up, you've got to apply it in the right way, you've got to understand how to use it, and when you know how to use it, you can get results. If you don't know how to use it, you won't get results. You'll just be thumping on yourself. And it's a good diversion, but it will not solve your problems unless you go inside yourself and address something. Very, very important. I've done them all. God, that's really good. I did them all in an hour. All right, guys. So, what do we do now? Because I can't hear anybody. All right, so very good. So, guys, thank you for being here. I hope this is helpful. We do have some things coming up. I'm going to be in Australia, and I'm actually leaving on April the 1st. I'm going to be there, come back home on May 1st. We got level 1, new level 1, and also we have the old level 3. Explaining the differences, the new level 1 is where we're doing a lot more work on the inside of the individual and empower them so they'll be better practitioners, and also we're building on top of it so that people get more from the session, a lot more tapping. The old level 3 it's big, it's a lot of information, we're going over a lot of stuff, but now with the newer system, you're going to be a much more skillful, but you know, your level 3 is really amazing. Also, I have in Greece, level 2 in May. Now, this is the old level 2. If you've been to the new level 1, you can't go to that one because there's pieces that you don't have that you didn't get. And that's because we're changing the system. So, those are 2 things coming up. Also, those of you who are asking about physical pains, there is a series that on Vimeo. You can either rent them or buy them. Videos, and basically talks about how to do it, how to address your pain. Because most pains, again, are created not by the physical body, but actually by the emotional body, about the emotional experiences that you hold. And it does affect you physically. It is real pain, but your mind can really change your pain. It's been scientifically proven over and over again. Again, it's tested in almost every research, and that's the placebo effect. And the placebo effect is the mind's great ability to heal itself. So I highly recommend that. Also, we are working on another series, which will be the relationship series. And then the next one, we're working on videos for the addictions and weight loss. So this is Robert Smith. I hope this has been helpful and beneficial. Also, those of you, if you decide you want to go ahead and buy the home study course, I think it's $17.99. If you write the office, I know they're going to hate me for this. If you write the office, we'll give you a discount on it, a good one. And so I hadn't made up what decision it is, but it'll save you a lot of money. Now, the nice thing about doing the home study course is, first of all, if it's $1,700, which would be less than that, you go to 4 levels home study. There's a lot of work to it, a lot of training, and you get to be a part of the new system as well, the new stuff. So anyway, so I hope that helps you. I think that's pretty much it. We're going to do some more of these things because we want to help you guys make you a better practitioner, better individuals, and thank you for being here, and we will talk to you later. Ciao. Have a good day.